Okay, sometimes you gotta do the boring stuff in order to do the fun stuff, so stick around. What is going on, everybody? I'm Kyle. I am covered in dog fur, basically head to toe. And we're back in the garage. We're talking about the XLR. It is time to start stripping all the Holley stuff out of here, which just reminded me I probably don't have the intake. I'm gonna have to go down to storage, keep my fingers crossed that I still have the factory intake for the factory MAP sensor so we can tie that back in. But we've got to get all of this out. There's the Holley, the Terminator X over in the corner. We got to get that thing out of there, clean all this stuff up. Little pro tip, you're working on one of these things, Corvette, XLRs, things like that, before you unhook the battery, roll the windows down. There is a lever down there that allows you to open the doors with the battery unhooked. Come around to the back. Everything that we need to do pretty much back here is underneath here. Brace yourselves, this is not pretty. Oh, thank goodness I bought that transmission harness after all, because there's the connector and all the wires are cut off of it. So dodged a bullet on there, but yeah, this is just, there's the PCS unit underneath. All that will be going away. We'll be getting rid of all of that fun stuff. This will be staying. We'll convert that over to a wet kit. Right now it's a dry kit, being controlled by the Terminator X. We'll convert it over to a wet kit. And, you know, I got a Maximizer 5 I may throw on it, so we can have some fun that way. But I got a bunch of stuff to get out of here, get out of the way. That dryer being picked up tomorrow afternoon. Junk, get out of here. Need to move some stuff back. We're going to have to be able to get to this wheel well. The ECM on these sit inside the fender. Hopefully we don't have to pull the fender. I'll have to look at the manual. My guess is the bumper would have to come off to get the fender off. The question is, can we get the factory harness snaked out of here without getting the fender off? That's part of the Holley harness. Man, we're going to have some work cut out. The factory harness goes up behind the motor. I don't know how easy it is to get. Then you can see this is part of the factory harness that's still in place that's going to have to come out. But as you can see, we still have all of our connectors for our cams on here. We'll have to replace, I'll have to find the factory MAP sensor on there. All this stuff is still in place, so we should be good as far as just unplugging things, plugging things back in. Wonder if this is flipped. Wonder if I flip that around for some reason. Who knows? Who knows? But for now, I'm gonna get this crap out of the way so we can get that wheel off, start working on it. New parts delivery, let's see what we got. Obviously, the big one that sticks out right away, Calvert mono leafs for the Nova. Obviously, any new parts that we're going to be getting in are obviously going to be for the Nova. I actually went with the +1, supposed to raise the rear up 1 inch, because we're going to be installing these along with the Detroit Speed upgraded spring buckets, the ones that bolt through the floor and have the real big plate that you weld in. So we're going to do all of that, get it ready, and then here, I don't know, a month or so, we'll throw a Ford 9-inch in the rear, and we'll do a Ford 9-inch with a factory style leaf mount for the Nova. So it'll just lift the old axle out, throw the new 9-inch in. So I'm not sure what I got from Speedway. I have an idea what I got from Jegs. Ah, U-bolts. Nice high quality U-bolt, hold everything together. Remember, you can't replace leaf springs without replacing the U-bolts. They are not reusable. And then from Jegs here, open sesame, Milodon windage tray. The reason we're going with the windage, the base level, like simple windage tray for the big block. Is the diamond stripper has been on order for over 2 months. I called them, they said it would be February before it ships out. So yeah, we gotta get this thing put together, and this is one of the last 2 missing pieces. For the nightmare of horrors that lies behind this panel. Woo! Yeah, get in there close. Get a look at that. Look at that mess. Yep. ECM's right there. BCM actually goes above it. So, oh man, yeah, not my finest work. I'll give you that much. I'll be honest with you though, a lot of this is stuff that I've done to test out different circuits. Specifically, I've got some test wires that are dropped down in here for testing out factory fuel prime, push button start, some factory gauge stuff. Yeah, most of this, I mean, all of this is going to be going away, so had to grab my special harness removal tool. I'm sure there's going to be some spots in here that we need to use it. I know how much you've all been dying to see underneath the intake manifold of a North Star, so here you go. Knock sensor. These are conversion harnesses that go from a 2-wire to a single wire hookup. That's why they're grounded to the block. Of course, the crank sensor is down inside the valley. And yeah, what's that? What's that big ugly thing? That would be the starter. The starter is literally underneath the engine manifold. You can see, you know, it's not that hard to get in here to it, so it's not that big of an ordeal. These are the factory O2 sensors. They're just tucked away. In fact, these are going to be probably the rears. This one has widebands on the front. One of the earlier vehicles that actually had widebands, which just goes to show you that this ECU, this factory ECU, is probably a little bit more advanced than what they actually went to. So they went to the E38 to standardize across kind of the board, and beforehand, this was a factory wideband car, you know, did all the calculations, things like that. Could run closed loop all the way through power enrichment. So very advanced for the early 2000s, but nobody supports it. There's absolutely nobody that supports this thing. So I had to take the intake manifold off anyways, because, well, not necessarily the intake manifold, but we do need to replace the injectors. Those are XLR V injectors. I've got the factory size injector somewhere, and we were going to have to get back to that ugly thing right there. And I don't know if you can see, but there is all of the stuff that I cut off of the factory harness and heat shrinked to get it out of the way. And that's why we've got to replace the factory harness, is because all that is now gone. But had to get in here to get the crank sensor disconnected so I could get the harness out. Now I should be able to go ahead and get the rest of the XLR, or the Terminator X harness out. Coolant temp sensor, back of the block. Quite the stretch. Okay, let's see what else we got hanging us up on here. Okay, green wire going to a relay from the looks of it. It's probably a trigger of some sorts. Clipped. Wideband sensor. Oh, then our main power wire. Can't forget that one. Reminds me, I need to go and hook the battery before I forget. Okay, so we've got the main harness out. What we lack is drive-by-wire harness, because it goes inside into the pedal, and then the main power harness. This is the wideband that goes with it, so we'll have to get that out of the way. But the majority of the stuff, we're going to have to go up underneath the driver's seat, or the passenger seat, up underneath the floorboard, and start yanking a lot of that stuff out. There's a lot of circuits underneath there. Obviously, none of them should be needed again after this. So that's where like the Canny logic controllers are and things like that, that we're doing the push button start and tap shift, all that jazz. So yeah, we're pretty much to the point now where we can start pulling the main harness out. And I'm not gonna lie, we might be breaking the Sawzall out on some of it, but I'm gonna jump on eBay and start ordering up some of the replacement parts that I'm gonna need to make this complete. You guys know the drill. Thanks for stopping by the garage. Remember, ABT, always be tuning in.